All right, let's talk about something that's a huge challenge for pretty much any IT pro out there. How do you manage user access when you're dealing with massive numbers of people? Today, we're going to unpack how Omnissa Horizon takes this incredibly complex puzzle and turns it into a system that's all about streamlined control. So let's dive right in.
So let's just set the scene for a minute. Imagine you're in charge of the digital workspace for a big company. And we're not talking about a handful of people here, we're talking about thousands of users. Every single one of them needs their own specific set of tools and access levels. It's this giant, messy, logistical puzzle of epic proportions.
So that brings us to the big question, right? How in the world do you give, say, 10,000 employees access to all the virtual desktops and apps they need to do their jobs, but do it without creating total chaos, or even worse, major security risks? It sounds pretty daunting, but believe it or not, there's a really elegant solution at the heart of it all.
And that solution really comes down to two simple, fundamental ideas: users and groups. Honestly, just think of them as the absolute building blocks for controlling access. They're the digital pieces that let an administrator define exactly who can get to what, turning that massive, chaotic puzzle into a system you can actually manage.
To really get our heads around this, let's use an analogy. Picture yourself as the manager of a huge building, and you've got this massive key ring. Every key unlocks a different door, an office, a secure lab, you name it. Well, in the digital world, managing users and groups is a lot like mastering a super sophisticated digital keyring.
So using that keyring idea, the whole process really boils down to three core functions. First, you're assigning access. That's basically just handing out the right keys to the right people. Second, you're authenticating users, which is like checking their ID to make sure they're allowed to use that key. And third, you delegate roles, which is kind of like creating master keys for your most trusted team members.
Okay, let's zoom in on that first step, assigning access. And we're not just talking about handing out a bunch of random keys here. No, this is all about precision. You can assign a user or a whole group to a very specific virtual desktop, or even just a single application. This gives you incredibly fine-grained control over every single digital resource.
I mean, what good is a key if just anyone can pick it up and use it, right? That's where authentication comes in, and it's absolutely crucial. Horizon plugs right into systems you're probably already using, like Active Directory. This means you're using your existing security setup to make sure only the right people get in the door. It's totally fundamental to keeping your digital stuff secure.
And this brings us to that final step, delegation. Because let's be real, you can't do it all yourself. It's just not possible. Horizon lets you create these master keys by assigning administrative roles. You can hand off tasks like managing one desktop pool to other folks on your team, all while keeping a really clear line between regular users and the people with admin powers.
So we've got our digital key ring, but just like in real life, not all keys are created equal, are they? Depending on what you need, you can actually create different types of user accounts, and each one has its own unique source and purpose. Let's take a look at the options.
Okay, let's break down what we're looking at here. First up, you've got your Active Directory users. These are pulled from your existing corporate directory, which is perfect for most established companies. Next, you have local users, which you create right inside Horizon itself for very specific situations. And then you have the most dynamic option, just-in-time users. These are created on the fly when a user logs in. They're perfect for temporary contractors because their access literally vanishes when their session ends, which from a security standpoint is a huge win.
All right, so we've been deep in the weeds with keys and IDs and all that tech stuff. But let's zoom out for a second. Why are we going through all this trouble? The answer is actually pretty simple. It's all about efficiency. This system isn't just about having control. It's about making that control incredibly efficient, especially at a massive scale.
I mean, sure, you could manage permissions one person at a time, but that's just not going to work when you have thousands of users. The real power, the magic of it all, is organizing users into groups. So when the marketing department needs a new app, you don't have to touch 50 different accounts. You just update one group. That's efficiency.
And you know what? This whole idea of efficiency doesn't just stop with who gets access to what. It also applies to how you manage something everyone cares about, software licensing. You've got flexible models designed to fit how your organization actually works. So you've got two main ways to go. First, there's named users. Think of this like a reserved parking spot. A license is assigned to one specific person. It's perfect for your full-time staff. But then you have concurrent users, which is more like a shared pool of licenses. This is amazing for places like call centers or for shift workers, where not everyone is logged in at the same time.
It's all about optimizing your costs and only paying for what you actually use.
So, if there's one thing you take away from all of this, it should be this. Omnissa Horizon's approach gives you the best of both worlds. You get that powerful, rock-solid, centralized control that you absolutely need to keep things secure, but you also get the built-in flexibility you need to manage a modern, dynamic workforce in a way that's actually efficient.
And that really leaves us with a big question for the future. As remote and hybrid work just becomes the way we do things, what's going to be more important for managing access? Having absolute control or having ultimate flexibility? You know, maybe the future isn't about choosing one over the other, but about getting that balance just right.